Good evening there, everybody. What is happening? Hopefully, you all are having a wonderful day today. So, I thought that I would talk about this little topic. I've been hearing that there are two possible fights for the new kid on the block named Ryan Garcia. And that is a fight possibly against either Devin Haney, which I heard overall, might be ordered by the WBC. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I heard. And also, I heard that it's possible that he could also fight Gervonta Tank Davis next. I think both of these are very interesting fights. The 135-pound division is extremely talented right now. I think Teofimo Lopez would have to be the number one guy overall. Lomachenko, just with what he's accomplished, probably would have to be the number two guy. But in terms of talent, you can really debate who is the most talented there. Teofimo Lopez, you could debate certainly is the most talented there. Gervonta Tank Davis, you could certainly debate is the most talented there. And even with his most recent loss, you could debate Lomachenko is the most talented there, but he certainly didn't do enough to win against Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion. But when it comes down to the overall bottom line is this is a very talented division. And when I took a look at Ryan Garcia before the Luke Campbell fight, I was never overly impressed with him. And I'm not going to say that his performance last Saturday against Luke Campbell was otherworldly. I don't I don't think that it was overly impressive. But when it comes down to it, he did convince me at least enough that he may have a chance against some of these guys. What I did figure out about Ryan Garcia this weekend was actually more positive than it was negative. Now, does he have some faults? Yes, he did get knocked down in the fight, but he did come back up. There was a certain amount of people saying that, he has a weak chin. I don't think that that's fair to say that he has a weak chin. Luke Campbell, I do think, has a decent punch. I'm not going to say that he punches the same as a Teofimo Lopez or a Gervonta Tank Davis. But when it comes down to it, Luke Campbell, he's hurt some of the other guys out there, so I mean, it's understandable when he gets hit by a shot like that, he gets knocked down. But he got back up. He pretty much won every other round besides maybe one. I think I gave Luke Campbell 2 rounds in the fight completely. But when it came down to it, man, I actually predicted Luke Campbell to win that fight because I thought Luke Campbell's experience. I thought that even though he's not an A-class fighter, and that's also another thing. I see a certain amount of people criticizing these UK fighters. Let's not forget that Tyson Fury is also one of the top fighters in the world. He's probably one of the top 10 pound for pound fighters in the world. And Tyson Fury overall whooped a very good champion in Deontay Wilder. All right. Anthony Joshua, who's a UK fighter, also one of the top fighters in the world. All right. Josh Taylor, who's from the UK, also another one of the top fighters in the world. All right. So it is what it is. There are some very, very good fighters from the UK, but I don't understand why so many people say, man, these English fighters, they just lay down. I think they're taking a look at Callum Smith versus Canelo. Listen, a lot of people don't know how great Canelo Alvarez is. Canelo's a great fighter, and Callum Smith is a very good fighter as well. But he's just not on the same level as Canelo Alvarez, and I can guarantee you, I don't think there's another fighter at that 168-pound division. I'm not sure if there's one fighter there that would provide the threat to Canelo Alvarez that Callum Smith would have, and he pretty much embarrassed Callum Smith. Because to be honest with you, I'm not really overly impressed with David Benavidez. Caleb Plant looks decent, but I don't think he's going to have enough to beat Canelo. That's just my opinion on the situation. But it is what it is. But that being said, when it comes down to the overall, when it comes to this Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney situation, Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis, what do I think on it? And who do I think possibly would win those fights? I've seen a lot of people try to rank the list, and I'm in certain boxing Facebook groups, and they ask, well, who do you rank, the top 5 lightweights 1 to 5? And if you're ranking them off of talent, or accomplishments, the number one guy right now has to be Teofimo Lopez with his recent win and the amount of belts that he has. The second guy, you could debate, either could be Gervonta Tank Davis or Vasyl Lomachenko. They're both right there. For number 3, as of right now, or if you want to say that Lomachenko and Gervonta Tank Davis are tied, or whichever one you want to put at second, third place. So let's say 4th place. At 4th place, you would have either Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. And I did not have Ryan Garcia debatably in the conversation with Devin Haney before. But now that I say, after I've seen this fight, if he were to fight Devin Haney next, I would say that I would actually favor Ryan Garcia over Devin Haney. Now, Devin Haney doesn't look bad in his fights, but a little bit like Ryan Garcia as well, he does look a little bit hittable. And when I take a look at Devin Haney, I do believe Ryan Garcia is more athletically gifted than Devin Haney. And a certain amount of people may disagree. When I take a look at Ryan Garcia's power and his speed, I do believe he has those two advantages over Devin Haney. And I just don't see Devin Haney as this elite ring IQ boxer. I just have never seen him as that. But it is what it is when it comes down to the overall. But the fight between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis, now that's an interesting one. Now, if I were going to favor someone in that fight, I would favor Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta looks like a very, very talented fighter. And, you know, I give him a lot of credit for the recent win that he's had over Leo Santa Cruz. Sure, Leo Santa Cruz may not be a natural 135-pounder, but Leo Santa Cruz is at least a natural 130-pounder when it comes down to the overall. He's never been knocked out before. I don't even remember a time where Leo Santa Cruz actually was knocked down. That was a very tough fight, and, you know, I believe that fight was... was it ended in the sixth? I think it was ended in the sixth. It was going pretty much 3 rounds to 3 until Gervonta Tank Davis knocked him out with that good left uppercut. So I give Gervonta Tank Davis a hell of a lot of credit for that win because I thought that was an A-class win. But when it comes down to the overall, I would favor Gervonta Tank Davis against Ryan Garcia. I do believe he has higher boxing IQ. I do believe that he's less hittable. His defense is great. His power is A-class. And I was having some questions about his power after that Yuriorkis Gamboa performance, but he showed it in the Leo Santa Cruz fight. So it'll be interesting. But with that being said, Ryan Garcia is 5 inches taller than Gervonta Tank Davis. He does have a slight reach advantage over Gervonta Tank Davis. And after looking at this fight that he had against Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia does not have the worst power in the world. He has very good power. He has decent speed. He is going to be the bigger man. And one thing I did like about Ryan Garcia in this fight is that he was more defensively responsible after he got knocked down. Now, Luke Campbell is no Gervonta Tank Davis, and I don't even think he's a Devin Haney, you know, obviously. But when it comes down to the overall bottom line is this. Those two fights would be very interesting, and I would love to see them. Personally, I think Ryan Garcia probably has more of a chance against Devin Haney than he does Gervonta Tank Davis. But with that being said, Gervonta Tank Davis is only 5'5", and a certain amount of people might be like, why do you bring up the height? You know, does that really have anything to do with it? Well, yeah, it does. A little bit. Because when it comes down to it, sometimes that can mean that you're a little bit harder to hit. It takes, you know, a little bit more, you know, to reach upwards to hit their face. So it is what it is. But with that being said, overall, I think that they're a pair of interesting fights. I think that Ryan Garcia has a decent chance over Devin Haney. And if he were to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, I would favor Gervonta Tank Davis probably 70-30. But before it would have been 90-10. So it is what it is. Now you can maybe claim that this is even a 60-40 fight. So Ryan Garcia, although he was not overtly impressive against Luke Campbell, or was not as impressive, he is the only one to knock Luke Campbell out. He hit him with a very good body shot. He nearly knocked him out. I believe it was round 5 when he hit him with a very good left hook. Ryan Garcia has more power than I thought. He has more speed than I thought. He did look in some parts good in this fight. And he does look somewhat of the real deal. So we'll just have to see what happens. This 135-pound division is a very good division. We'll see what happens. But when it comes down to the overall, that's just my, prediction on the situation, or my analysis on the situation. So I would personally say that when it comes to talent, I would have number 1, Teofimo Lopez. Number 2, either Vasily Lomachenko or Gervonta Tank Davis. And number 4, I would have Ryan Garcia. And at number 5, I would have Devin Haney. And that's just the way that I look at it. But it is what it is. It's very close in certain circumstances. But anyways, that's really about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see what happens with this. I would be very excited for one of these fights. Let's just see what happens. And we'll see if Ryan Garcia can handle them. But anyways, that's really about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to y'all later.